seconds.
Yeah. Count it down for us. The suspense is killing us. I'm supposed to go easy on this. Call this meeting to order. I invite you to rise for an invocation from Grant Atkinson's Canyon Cowboy Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, Grant.
All right, let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and we thank you for the privilege today to pray, and I thank you for our county commissioners, our governments around our country that still give us this privilege to honor you as our forefathers did. Praise you for your safety. Our money reminds us it's in you, it's in God we trust. So we praise you for that today. Thank you for the moisture. I pray for all of our county and our city government and all of our employees that you'd bless them, protect them. Thank you for using them to keep our county and our city with roads and many other things safe for us and improving. Just pray your blessings on them. Thank you for the moisture, for this meeting and your leadership in all we do in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Grant. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne.
Present.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Koch.
Present.
Next, we move to the approval of agenda. I don't see any changes.
No changes I'm aware of, Mr. Chair. I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to the consent agenda. I want to note that we are not scheduling any public hearings on the consent agenda.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to administrative and informational staff and elected official reports. We'll move on to the county manager report. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So just a couple of quick items. Many of you have heard that we're actually working with the Department of Local Affairs on a grant to look at the possibility of doing a new search and rescue building. So we had individuals from CU Denver, their architecture department, come down, and they actually have done some designs for that. Essentially, it would solve two issues, because right now they're housed at the Sheriff's Department, and so they're taking up quite a bit of space there. So it would allow for additional room at the Sheriff's Department and allow for them to have additional room in a building. So we're at the very early stages of this. They presented a couple of different drafts, which are kind of the dream buildings. So now we have to decrease the scope and make it a little more realistic, and then we'll actually go out for some grants to see if it's actually going to be a possibility. So we met with that group on March 14th, and then we had a follow-up meeting yesterday with Christy with the Department of Local Affairs to discuss that along with various other items. And so we have that project moving along. On Thursday, March 15th, Commissioner Bell and I attended the Penrose Chamber of Commerce breakfast, so it's always good to get out in the Penrose community to see what they have going on out there. And then on Wednesday, March 21st, Commissioner McFall, Christina Del Duca, and I attended the Weed Advisory Board meeting, so it's always good to kind of get in with that group. Even though it's been dry, they're seeing some weeds, the noxious weeds that are coming up already, so they're going to get out there and start spraying. Nick is doing a tremendous job. He's working right now to hire his seasonal employees, and they'll be getting out and about. So if you see any noxious weeds or have any questions on that, give him a call, and he can actually get that going. So that's all I have for the managers, and I'll go into the sales tax report.
Okay.
So There we go. The month of January started off really good in retail sales tax. So the collections in January were $333,176, which is an increase of $20,535 from January of last year. The auto use tax collections, so I actually have 2 months here. So January number came in at $110,746, which is an increase of $25,128. And then February number came in at $91,173, which is an increase of $15,718. So year to date, we're up $40,846. The construction use tax in January came in at $5,546. The February number came in at $10,559. So year to date, we're slightly down, but like I explained last year, we did make that change to where the City of Canyon City is collecting the county's use tax on our behalf, and so they remit that to us quarterly. So those numbers will change in the next couple months. The lodging tax came in at $637, which is not unusual just because they are also, the entities remit quarterly, so the entities that are remitting in January actually remitting late. And so having that number smaller doesn't mean that we're off to a bad start. So in the 1% sheriff retail sales tax in January, it came in at $222,000, which is up $13,690 from 2017. And then the auto use tax, January came in at $73,830, and February came in at $60,782. So year to date, we're up $27,171. And then the construction use tax, January came in at $3,698, and February came in at $7,039. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that was a very, going back to the search and rescue, that was a very good meeting yesterday we had with DOLA, Christy from DOLA, and also the search and rescue. And it's a good project moving forward that we're working on. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's much needed. So anyway, thank you for coordinating all that. Okay, moving on. What's that? Okay. Jim, you want to talk now? Okay. Good morning, Sheriff Biker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just real quickly, prior to about 10 p.m. last night, I probably would have been coming before the board to ask for imposing fire restrictions, but thankfully we were blessed with the moisture that we're getting right now, and so I'm not going to do that this morning, but just a quick update. Obviously, in staying in communications with the fire chiefs and the BLM officials, unless this moisture is sustained throughout the spring season, this is probably only buying us a little bit more time, or it continues to fall for a few days. That might extend that. But just wanted to tell the board, obviously, and if you've been paying attention, many of the counties around us have gone into restrictions, different stages of their restrictions, and you know, in speaking with Ty Webb at BLM, they were meeting, I think, 3 of their criteria to go into restrictions, and yet they said they were not going to impose any restrictions. As you know, I've agreed with them, as well as the local fire chiefs, to try to stay consistent when we all go into restrictions in the county. And so, at least at this time, we're not, nor is BLM, but it's probably on the near horizon, once again, if this weather doesn't sustain. Just a quick caution to folks, please, if they have agricultural burning to do, some of that stuff, to please get that done as quickly as they can. Obviously, this postpones their ability to do that a little bit too, so a double-edged sword, I guess, for that. But I know that a lot of the ditch companies and stuff have done theirs and about to complete it. But just a word of caution to the folks that even this moisture can dry out very, very quickly, and we're in need of much more to take us out of any danger. So unless there's any questions, I just want to...
Sheriff, I do have one for you. Have any of the special districts, Tallahassee or Deer Mountain, or any of those folks put in any restrictions?
I believe Deer Mountain is. I'm not aware of Tallahassee. I had some of our wildlife and fire team folks reaching out to some of them. I haven't been made aware if they are, nor do I believe is Florence or Canyon in any restrictions. I did have our staff change the signage on our fire restriction boards, and so you will see those at high, even with this moisture. Like I said, if it sustains, we'll change them back, but it takes staff a day or two to even get all those signs changed. So we're going to leave it at high at this point until we know we're out of the woods.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other staff?
I just would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that Sunday is Easter Sunday and to wish all of you a very happy Easter. I hope you all have the opportunity to really enjoy the day with family and friends. Turns out this year it also falls on April Fool's Day, so I would like to tell you, don't play a trick on your kids and tell them the Easter Bunny came and hid eggs if he didn't really, because you're going to keep those kids busy for hours. Would not be a fun thing for them. So have a good day.
Tell them to hunt and there's nothing there. Jeez.
Nothing to find.
Anybody got
Keep them
anything else
going all day long.
This time? Okay, how about any citizens that wish to address the board at this time with items not on the agenda? Okay, I don't see a rush, so we'll move on. Old business, we have none. We'll move on to new business, proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month for April 2018. I believe we have Mick Stump with us. Good morning, Mick.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, and happy Tuesday.
Yes.
So, as always, thank you for letting us come talk a little bit about child abuse prevention.
Get closer to the mic, would you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Got to be a little loud.
All right.
Sorry.
So again, always thank you so much for letting us come present a little bit about Child Abuse Prevention Month in April. While I'm talking, we always bring some goodies for people. So Leona, one of our interns with us, is going to pass out some bracelets. I know usually we pass out pinwheels, but we decided to do something a little bit different this year. Usually we talk a little bit about some numbers and things in our community, and this year we really wanted to focus on the prevention efforts of our community and our partners. And so in April, we're really, encouraging people to volunteer and support some of those efforts. We did a calendar this year of some of the great events with our partners for the month of April, including, every one of our libraries in the county, in Canyon, Florence, and Penrose have some sort of a story hour, a story time every week. We also have in April several other events, including the Bridge is having a fundraiser. Heart of Colorado CASA, which does phenomenal work for our community, is also having their dinner. We have 3 days of Safety Town with Head Start, and then also some other events as far as the health fair and Take Back the Night is also in April. So we're very excited to be volunteering at any of these and encouraging people to volunteer and participate in those activities. So if you guys are ready, we'll do proclamation.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so again, Fremont County Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month in April 2018. Whereas children are key to Fremont County's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, while children are our most precious resource, they are also our most vulnerable. And whereas children have the right to thrive, learn, and grow to their full potential, and whereas the prevention of child abuse and neglect strengthens Fremont County's families and ensures the opportunity for children to develop in healthy, trusting families, schools, and neighborhoods, and where the consequently builds the foundation of our county and society. And whereas we must come together as partners to keep children safe, ensure that the voices of our children are heard by all, and extend a helping hand to families and children in need. And whereas each of us plays a role in the prevention of child abuse and neglect, we encourage anyone concerned about the safety and well-being of any child to report to the Fremont County Department of Human Services or the state hotline number of 1-844-CO for kids.
Okay. Anything else? You got that?
I would just say thank you so much to you, Mick, for all the work that you do, as well as all of our other workers there at DHS, the Department of Human Services here in Fremont County. I think it's a really important message to get out, and so thank all of you for all the work that you do in getting word out, as well as dealing with children who have been abused in one form or another. So just thank you for that. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month in Fremont County for April of 2018.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, I just kind of want to reiterate what she said, though. Thank you and your staff, everyone out there, for what you do. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Mick.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Item number 2, proclamation declaring April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We have Catherine Konachek from Family Crisis Service Incorporated. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good.
Thank you so much for giving me time to speak. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month nationally, but it means so much to survivors in our community to see it on a local level like this. We have Take Back the Night, which was mentioned previously, happening on April 26th, and that is a rally and a march to support victims in our community and give them an opportunity to share their stories publicly. So it's a very powerful event. It's April 26th this year, so I hope if you guys are around, you'll come out and support survivors in Fremont County. All right. Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence remains an intolerable, widespread, violent crime with public health implications for every citizen in Fremont County, Colorado, as a victim, survivor, or as a family member, significant other, friend, neighbor, or coworker of a victim or survivor. And whereas the World Health Organization and the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have identified sexual assault as a significant, costly, and preventable health issue. And whereas rape and sexual assault impacts men, women, and children of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds, and whereas the importance of these issues are underlined by statistics that indicate that 1 in 6 American women and 1 in 33 American men are a victim of rape or attempted rape within their lifetime, and that 63,000 children a year are sexually abused, and that another American is sexually assaulted in our country every 98 seconds, and that 70% of sexual assaults are not reported to law enforcement. And whereas we must work together to educate our community about sexual violence prevention, supporting victims and survivors and their loved ones, ensuring victims and survivors are not re-victimized, and speak out against harmful attitudes and actions. And whereas ending sexual assault in Fremont County must include public and private efforts, including raising awareness of the issue and engaging in conversations about what sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help victims and survivors access supportive services, and how our community can work together to better address sexual violence. And whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is meant to encourage public education and public discourse that leads to a community culture in which each citizen is informed of sexual violence and its impacts and is prepared to support survivors of such violence and hold perpetrators accountable. And whereas Fremont County strongly supports the dedicated efforts of Family Crisis Services, Inc. to address sexual assault in our community through a 24-hour hotline services to victims and survivors and their significant others, offering support and advocacy to victims and survivors during medical exams and criminal and civil court proceedings, free and confidential counseling services, emergency housing services, and training for community members.
Thank you so much. That's very powerful. Wow.
I've had the opportunity several times to attend Take Back the Night, and when I was a reporter for the Canyon City Daily Record, I used to walk along and talk to people and do an actual report on that. And it is an incredible night. I would just urge anyone who has never attended one, be there and see what it's all about. Very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for bringing this awareness out. It's something that I think a lot of us don't realize, and those numbers are kind of alarming.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proclamation declaring April as Sexual Assault Month.
Second.
Sexual Assault Awareness
Awareness
Month. Sorry.
Month. And I'll second that.
Good thing you put that awareness. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Item number 3. I've been looking forward to this one.
The
A
look on
resolution
Ty's face tells
recognizing
me
Ty
he
Martin,
hasn't.
Undersheriff, for his 21 years of service to Fremont County. Front center, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I believe Commissioner Bell is going to read the resolution.
I do have a resolution here before me, and I'm more than happy to be the one to read this morning. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado regretfully accepts the retirement of Mr. Ty Martin, Undersheriff of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. And whereas Ty Martin has been a loyal and valued employee of Fremont County from March 10, 1997 until April 6, 2018, earning much respect and admiration for his extraordinary level of dedication and professionalism for the county. And whereas Ty Martin provided Fremont County with his expertise in law enforcement and jail operations and worked diligently to assure seamless administration of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. And whereas Ty Martin's service to the Fremont County Sheriff's Office and to the Fremont County citizens was highly professional, competent, ethical, generous, and compassionate, always serving others without regard for himself. And whereas Ty Martin's accomplishments are many and include the following: overseeing the demolition and construction of the Fremont County Detention Center's kitchen and laundry facilities, overseeing the installation of a state-of-the-art security system in the detention center, overseeing the construction of the Fremont County Regional Communications Center, which provides services to all emergency services within the county, overseeing and providing leadership to the Fremont County SWAT team, providing invaluable leadership to the detention center, providing knowledge and leadership in building construction and maintenance, providing and capably handling employment and personnel issues, including internal affairs investigations, serving in numerous and varied sheriff's office positions during staffing shortages with no expectation of additional compensation, and overseeing the management of security personnel for the courts in the Fremont County Judicial Building. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado, hereby publicly recognizes and expresses its deep appreciation and that of the residents of Fremont County to Ty Martin for his decades of devoted service to Fremont County. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be read into the record of the Board of County Commissioners as a tribute to Ty Martin's service, and that the official seal of Fremont County shall be affixed thereto and delivered to him.
Thank you very much.
Do we want to approve it first?
We need to just talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right. Well, there was a whole lot of us involved with the Regional Communication Center, a whole lot of people. But to actually physically get boots on the ground and get it done, if it wasn't for Ty, that may not ever have happened. And my gratitude for that, because I was involved in that from the beginning, is, words are escaping me, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ty, I also appreciate all the work as mentioned here on the remodeling of the jail, the security facilities, making our community safer. We appreciate every hour, and there were a lot of them that you put in out there. Thank you very much.
So a few years ago, I had the opportunity to be involved in a redesign of the Fremont County logo. And we have decided that for certain people who are retiring and leaving the county, we would present to them a copy of that Fremont County logo, framed and ready to display in your own home. And I would like to read to you what this one says this morning. Presented to Ty Martin, Fremont County Undersheriff, in honor of your retirement after 21 years of dedicated service to the taxpayers of Fremont County, with sincere appreciation, Tim Payne, Debbie Bell, and Dwayne McFall, Fremont County Commissioners. Ty, I want you to know this is only the second one of these given. It means a lot from us to you. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution recognizing Ty Martin, Undersheriff, for his 21 years of service to Fremont County.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Photo op.
Commissioners, I can't thank you enough for the recognition of my career with Fremont County. I never looked for anything for this. I believed it to be serving this community, which I'm passionate about. I still am and always will be for the people that serve this community. It is a very difficult job for everyone that is in public service in any different field. And it is a calling, something that you need to believe in. Otherwise, it just doesn't go well. I chose this career. It wasn't. It was kind of a fluke how it happened. It's not something I had dreamed about my whole life. I just kind of ended up there. But I'll tell you that this ended up being something that sorry.
Take your time.
It gave me a purpose, something to believe in, something to work toward this community. And every day I believed in that. When I started this career, I didn't have any desire, any belief to be some administration or the undersheriff. Sheriff Biker, if you could come here for a second. For 16 years, I've asked Sheriff why he chose me, because I've never understood it. I've never understood why he chose me as his second. But I can't thank you enough for that opportunity, because it gave me an opportunity to grow, to learn, to work with this community, to work with you as a partnership, and to serve this community in a way that I never dreamed of. And that's meant the world to me. So regardless of what I go from here, this has always been and always will be one of the greatest honors of my life. So I thank you for that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would like to take note that Ty's entire family is with us this morning, his mom and dad, his wife, and their son. And I know that this award goes to all of you as well. Without your support, Ty could have never done the things that he has done here for all of us over the last 21 years. So I just want to extend to each of you our heartfelt gratitude and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Ty.
And as I've noted before, no one cries alone in my presence.
If we get to follow that with Asphalt mix.
Right back to business.
Good morning, Tony.
Morning. We get boring now.
Morning.
Okay. Let's get organized here. So we're looking at a bid for asphalt mix?
Yes,
Okay.
for our materials for our 2018 projects, we put it out to bid to our local vendors on February 15th, and with the bids to be returned on the 15th of March, and we opened them public at that time. For the asphalt bids, our recommendation as a department would be for half-inch asphalt mix to Fremont Paving, $52 a ton for our asphalt projects, and Fremont County will deliver to our job sites.
Fremont Paving will deliver.
Fremont County.
Fremont
Fremont
County,
County will deliver.
yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the bid for asphalt to Fremont Paving for half-inch asphalt mix at $52 a ton for asphalt projects.
Okay.
I second that, and I'm not sure if approve is the right terminology. I think we are
Award.
awarding the bid.
Move to award that bid.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And we'll move on to award bid for tack oil.
Okay, for our tack oil, we would like, the recommendation would be for the SS1H tack oil to Suncor Energy from Pueblo, Colorado at $1.52 a gallon, and Fremont County will pick up the material.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve awarding the bid to Suncor Energy for SS1H tack oil at the amount of $1.52 per gallon from the Pueblo plant, and the Fremont County Department of Transportation will pick up and deliver to job site.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, then we'll move into a bid for emulsion oil.
The emulsion oils, the CRS is material that we use for our chip seal projects, and then the HFMS is a material that we use for our asphalt patching. The CRS 2P emulsion to Suncor Energy, $1.76 per gallon from their Pueblo plant, and then we will, Fremont County will contract with Accord Trucking for the delivery to our required sites. The CRS 2P fog seal to Suncor Energy, 95 cents a gallon from their Pueblo site, and Fremont County will contract with Accord again. And then the HFMS 2P to Suncor Energy, $2.25 a gallon, and then Suncor will deliver to Canyon City. That material comes out of their Grand Junction plant.
And this is it. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the award of bid for Suncor Energy for CRS -2P, $1.76 per gallon from Pueblo plant. Fremont County will also contract with Accord Trucking for delivery. Also CRS-2P fog seal to Suncor Energy, 95 cents per gallon from Pueblo. Again, they will contract with Accord Trucking for delivery. And for HFMS-2P to Suncor for $2.25 a gallon, Suncor Energy will deliver to Canyon City.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to item number 8, award bid for Dust Guard liquid suppressant.
You missed one.
You missed aggregate chip, number 7.
Oh, that's how you move through an agenda pretty fast. Let's do number 7, award bid for aggregate chip for chip seal program.
Okay, for the aggregate, for our chip seal program, we'd like to do the 3/4 aggregate chip to the aggregate source, which is TZAC, in Canyon City at $12.50 a ton for our east and west area chip seals. And Fremont County will pick up the aggregate.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move to award the bid for aggregate 3/4-inch aggregate chip to the aggregate source of Canyon City at $12.50 a ton. Fremont County will pick up the aggregate at the local quarry.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now we'll move on to the dust guard liquid suppressant.
Okay. Our recommendation would be for the dust guard liquid supplied from GMCO Storage Yard in Florence, Colorado, and that's at 68 cents a gallon. We're going to use approximately 180,000 gallons this year, and then we will pick it up and apply it to the roads.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve and award the bid to GMCO Storage Yard in Florence for dust guard liquid at 68 cents a gallon. Fremont County Department of Transportation will apply the materials to the road
And pick up as well.
and pick it up.
I'll second
Pick it
that.
up and apply it.
Right. Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tony.
Move on to item number 9. It's a rezoning extension for Mary's, to extend her contingency deadline. And you don't look like Mary.
Sorry. Sorry about that, Tim. Mary was unable to be here, so she asked me that I
Okay.
show in her.
State your name for the record.
My name is Derek Westback.
Okay. Okay, what do you got?
We just want to get it extended. I understand that you guys have extended this in the past. I just entered into this project in February and saw the lack of progress. So I jumped on and got as much as I could before the initial permit or the extension had expired. And I would trust that maybe one or two of you had driven by and seen what we have done. And I just pray that you guys would give me that extension. It won't take the whole year. I just need to be legal and binding and when operating this. So we are on it daily, as you guys could see. I was talking to Commissioner McFall. He said he drove by and saw it. We're doing the best we can. We'll get it done. I just pray that you give us the extension.
Okay. Staff report.
All right, the department did receive a letter requesting the extension as well as the applicable fee. In review of the file, the zone change was primarily for an RV storage facility.
Correct.
And they are proceeding with the actual construction of that now. The department doesn't have a problem with granting this extension.
Okay. And this is a 1-year extension?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, given the fact you have stated 1 year will be enough to complete this
Yes.
project, Mr. Chair, I move to approve zone change 13-001, Mary's rezone, and extension of contingency deadline for 1 year.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Tell Mary we said hi.
Okay, next item, Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District Projects Update. We have Chelsea Nutter. I sit on the Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy Board, and I asked Chelsea to come down here and give us this presentation. And this is part of her education program she does for all over, so it's all yours, Chelsea.
I'm on tour right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Chelsea Nutter. I'm the project manager at the Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District. And thank you for the opportunity to come here today and give you an update on a few of our projects, one of which the Fremont County is a local matching partner in. Let me see if this will. So this first slide shows all the projects that we're currently working on. So as you can see, we're very busy, but we also have a lot that we can share. And don't worry, I won't go through all of these projects today. I will be focusing on 3 projects for the purposes of this presentation. The first one is the Upper District's Education and Outreach Plan. So we started this last summer, and I went around, did interviews with all of our board members, as well as with elected officials, leaders of government organizations, nonprofits, and did site visits. And really we just wanted to get out there and learn a little bit more about the areas that we represent. And we learned a lot from this process. One of the things I learned is that depending on where you are, there's unique needs for education in that area. And we also learned that we weren't doing the best job at communicating who we were as a water conservancy district, the services that we provide, and then also how we could be a resource. So what we're doing now is we are working on updating all of our communications materials. So we have a new website coming out. We're going to be doing e-newsletters, blogs, and we really want this to be a tool for anyone who's within the district boundaries to use for any of your educational needs. There'll be tons of resources on there, videos, projects that we're working on. We're also developing some new programs, and we're going to do them specific to the different areas within our district boundaries. And for those of you who don't know, our district covers Chaffey County, Fremont County, Custer County, a little piece of Saguache, and a little piece of El Paso counties. So some of these programs that we're working on, the first one we developed was what we're calling Water Talks. So we've invited some leaders from nonprofit groups, government organizations. The invitation's open to anyone else who would like to join this, but we basically take a water resource topic, and then this group gets together every couple months, and then we just have a conversation on it. We found that this is a really effective way to learn more about water resources and be able to kind of dig into the details because it's so complicated. We're also putting together Water 101 programs, boot camps, tours, so we'll have a lot of that information coming out in this next year, still developing it. So really the purpose and goals are to fill the information gap on water use and policy in the Upper Arkansas Basin, as well as position ourselves as a local resource for water information. So we really want to become that entity, because we're uniquely positioned that we cover such a large area to be a resource for municipalities out there, county commissioners, other interest groups who want to know more about water. If you're interested in building a project, we have several representatives from our board who sit on the Arkansas Basin Roundtable. I chair the Needs Assessment Committee, so we're really involved with getting grants through the Colorado Water Conservation Board. So just opening up that invitation to please use this as a resource. The next project I'm going to focus on is the water balance study, which you're familiar with. I believe it was 2016 when I first mentioned this project to you all and asked if you would be a local matching partner on this. Just to give a brief background, these studies started in 2002. The Upper District partnered with USGS to do a study on the sustainability of groundwater resources in the Upper Arkansas Basin. So that was between Buena Vista and Salida. And in that first study, we found that we projected out growth and the impacts of that growth to, I think, 2040. And we were wondering what impact that would have on our groundwater resources. And what we found is that we have a very resilient system there, that most likely, even with projected growth, we would only influence about 1% of the top 300 feet of drainable groundwater in that area. When we finished the study, we realized we were only looking at one piece of the equation, though, and what we really needed to do was to look at surface water, groundwater, and the interactions between the two. And so this is where we came up with this water balance concept. So what does our water system look like in a given year? So how much water is going into the aquifer, how much water is then coming out back into the streams? So in 2009, we partnered again with USGS. We also went around to different entities throughout our district boundaries, including Fremont County, and asked for some local matching support, which you guys did provide. Thank you for that. And this really helped us leverage the funding that we needed to do this study. As we got into looking at this surface water, groundwater interactions, again in Buena Vista, Salida region, we started finding these areas where there was potential for what we call alluvial aquifer storage. So there was the space available in the alluvium. So from the ground level to where the water table is, there's available space in some aquifers in our area, and we realized maybe we could store water in this alluvium. So we started looking at that with this study. The final report came out in 2014, and that was phase 1. And then phase 2, we started in 2016. Again, same matching partners. Thank you again for helping us leverage those funds. I think between all of our matching partners, we had about $130,000, and we were able to get matching grants, federal and state, of up to $667,000. So it's pretty significant. Currently, we're in our first year of this study. We're looking at the wet mountain valley drainage, which is a very important drainage for you here in Fremont County. And USGS has analyzed over 2,000 well permits. They've established 30 monitoring wells, 32 stream measurement sites, and they're beginning to do field measurements on a daily basis now. So they have that all set up. We also have established a network of soil moisture sensors. So we have one in Buena Vista, Salida, Custer County, and then eastern Fremont. And what these give us is a site-specific water balance that we can then use as part of this study. So more to come on this. It's a 3-year study, so each year you'll get to see me again, and I'll tell you how it's going. And we're also looking at the potential for alluvial storage through this project as well. The next project, which you are all familiar with, is our Upper Arkansas multi-use project. So really the purpose of this project is to integrate multiple water uses into a single project and provide diverse benefits for multiple water uses. I'm going to show you a little film at the end, so I'm not going to go into details on everything here, but this is a large project. It's very ambitious, and what we've learned is that we needed to kind of piece it into its different components and focus on those one at a time. This project, our main project is taking place at Trout Creek Park, which is by Johnson's Village, so where 24 and 285 meet right by Buena Vista area. And we're working
just
with
south of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
just south of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're working with a local land and water rights owner, Mr. Paul Molt, who also owns a small reservoir in that area. So currently we're working with him. We did get some state funding to do an alluvial aquifer storage study. And this is the easiest example I can give of how we're hoping this will work. Basically what we're going to do is divert water, surface water, so from the stream. We take it down a ditch. We've already created a recharge pond. We place that water in the pond. The water then percolates into the groundwater system, and then it moves along a historic thalweg, which is basically an underground river, and eventually it hits the Arkansas River again. So the timing aspect of this, from when we put the water in the infiltration pond to when it hits the river, that's the storage component. So it's just how much time it takes that water to move through the system.
And there's no evaporation.
Exactly, no evaporation. So yeah, you're conserving water, no evaporation. The only evaporation you're getting is off of those small recharge ponds. It's also very cost effective, and we're not damming up a river. So we've done some preliminary engineering on this. It's kind of hard to see, but that top blue dot, that's where we have our first recharge pond currently. We're working on putting in piping in from the Trout Creek ditch. So we'll pipe it to that recharge pond. So from that dot to where it recharges back at the Arkansas River, distance 11,000, width 13,000, the depth, so that's that available space I was talking about, 30 to 60 feet in there. And from these calculations, we think that there's potential from anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 acre feet of storage, and this is huge. You'll see in the video here, we show Trout Creek Reservoir, and that holds 671 acre feet. So the potential here is, we're really excited about it.
Well, it's one thing to see it here, but the three commissioners, we met Greg Felt, who's also a Chaffee County Commissioner and also sits on Upper Ark Water Board, and we met him up here. And to see it firsthand, it's an impressive project.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, I know I'm a little biased, but.
I think it's wonderful too. So we did do some return flow timing calculations on this, and with this study, we're going to get in there and physically start to monitor this, but this is just from our engineering calculations, what we think that return flow timing or the storage component might be. So if we were to put 100 acre feet into that recharge pond, we think that it could take approximately 20 years for that last drop of water to hit the river at that recharge zone down there. 50% of this will be hitting the river after 6 years, so it's on a bell curve. And what we would like to do is any excess water, exchange it, put it back in, and just continue to fill this up till we have basically a renewable resource in a way where water's always hitting the river, we're always putting water back in. And this spot on the Arkansas River is right above Browns Canyon, so having a continuous supply of water hitting the river right there is really beneficial for everyone. Phase 2 of this project, we realized we need a little more flexibility in the system, and that's the one thing when dealing with alluvial aquifer storage. You know, we can't go out there and turn a valve or anything. You know, we're working with nature here. What we would like to do is to put in recharge ponds along that historic thalweg, so along that underground river, put different recharge ponds all along that. So, for example, the current recharge pond that we have, if we think that's 20 years, maybe the next one would be 15 years, and 10 years, and 5 years, and so on. So this provides flexibility in the system where we can place water where we need it for how long we need to store it. And I'm glad that there's been so many conversations about moisture today because, you know, as we're moving into a dry year like this, storage is essential. The only way to have water available for when you need it in a dry year is to have it in storage. So we're really trying to move forward with this and find new solutions to facing our future water challenges.
And there's only one landowner that you're dealing with on this particular project, is that right?
Well, so Paul Moltz owns the top 3 pivots at the top there, and then the reservoir at the top right, and then the lands adjacent to that. And then you move into Department of Corrections, which we've had conversations with them already. And really what we'd be doing on their lands is just those small recharge ponds. But they, so far in the conversations we've had, they've seemed, you know, interested in working with us. And so we're in the first year of that, get the piping in, put in monitoring wells, you know, really start to understand what the engineering is on that, and then hopefully move into the phase 2 and start storing water in here for future use. And then just some other projects I wanted to throw up here for you to consider. I have been talking with Deweese Dye Reservoir and Ditch Company about looking for some grant funding to look at storage potential at Deweese. So we're looking for partners on that. We're continuing to work on a stream management plan with BLM and Deweese Dye Ditch Company. We're looking at flow enhancement for the fishery below Deweese Reservoir. Also, we'll be down here again sometime soon to talk to you more specifically about augmentation and our blue line expansion. I'm working on putting together some materials on what is augmentation, how does it work, just to have something that you could hand out to folks, or you know, if you have questions, we want to make sure that we're trying to answer all of those for you. And then some other partnerships I've been working on. You know, we really want to have a stronger presence here in Fremont County as well as in Custer County. So I've been reaching out as part of my education plan to other groups in the area. I've talked with Ashley from Fremont Area Recreation, did I get that right? FAR, several times on some different projects. One of them being, we'll do a showing of a 60-minute PBS documentary that talks about the economic and social impacts of the Arkansas River as it flows from Leadville to Lamar. So more information on that. We'll also be reaching out to probably Commissioner Payne to sit on a panel for that, but it should be a fun event. And then a special thanks to Canyon City Water Department, who has been very supportive of helping us develop water festivals in the Upper Basin. We've held a water festival in Salida, a community water festival, for the last 2 years. This year we will be expanding into Buena Vista, and then I've been talking to Travis Payne about developing some type of water festival here in Canyon City, maybe through the schools. And I know that through our interviews down here, that was one thing that I kept hearing was youth education. So we really want to start planning something on that, and I'm open to any ideas that you have. And then, yeah, just please, you know, keep us in mind, let us know your ideas and how we can better support you. And then I just have a short little video, and then I'll take any questions.
Across the state of Colorado and here in the upper Arkansas River Valley, water managers are tasked with balancing diverse water uses, including agriculture, municipal, industrial, recreational, and the environment. As our population grows, combined with increasing environmental and recreational demands, we need solutions that benefit all users. We need solutions like the Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District's Trout Creek Park multi-use project.
municipalities in this area are expanding because of growth demands, people wanting to move here and they want to live here. Of course, the state of Colorado has always recognized you have to have storage in order to meet future demands. Larger entities can work together within a drainage to be able to meet the demands for everybody, instead of each one doing it by themselves and have competing uses of water.
Future projects ought to be more multi-partnered, and since we have a lot of small municipalities, we have diverse needs for non-consumptive use. Agriculture can often benefit from supplemental water and things. It really makes sense to try to build projects that account for more than one entity's needs, especially since many of those entities are not in a position financially to do it on their own. The best way to do that is to build relationships. So we started talking with Paul Moltz, the landowner and the person responsible for building Trout Creek Reservoir, and came to realize that he had a vision that largely intersected with ours.
Trout Creek drains 60 square miles on Trout Creek Pass. The property is bounded on the north by the Highway 285. To the west is the Arkansas River. The elevation of this reservoir is 7950. The elevation at the airport in Buena Vista is 7950.4. That is strategic in not having to pump water to be able to use gravity to move water. That all lends together to make potential development here of some kind. The Upper Arkansas multi-use project at Trout Creek is an example of meeting integrated water management. There are diversions into these lands from not only Trout Creek, but also out of Cottonwood Creek and out of the main stem Arkansas River. So you have 3 sources of water that all come to this land. In order to have a true integrated plan, you have to have storage. This project has 2 components of that. One is this reservoir you see behind you, an expansion of that, surface water. Also, alluvial storage where you actually place water in the ground.
How can we make better use of that water when it's in storage or when it's in transit to its final use?
We put together Mr. Moltz's property along with the adjacent property owners. We got over 2,000 acres of irrigated land. It lends itself to using alternative transfer methods, so you can have temporary water supplies then stored for later use.
Because the property borders the Arkansas River, we are looking at increasing the fishing access on the east side of the river by about 2 to 2.5 miles, and that would correlate well with 2 state wildlife areas that we have on the west side of the river already. And along with that, there's a need for an additional public access point through the Arkansas Headwaters Recreation Area up there in the Johnson Village area, where the adrenaline crowd can get out of the river and the more easygoing and fishing crowd can get in. In addition to all this, the Trout Creek Park area, deer and elk congregate there in the winter months because there is such a nice food supply in what's left of those fields after the harvest. We'd like to protect that component of what's going on there into the future as well.
You have hydrologic potential because of the gradient of the land for hydropower. So we basically are hitting almost every component of the Colorado water plan on one property at one location. And that's unique.
When I think about the Trout Creek project and the increased storage capability, this additional storage could be extended to other municipalities and water providers within the district, managed in the same integrated way. It's really different entities doing what they do best and hitting economies of scale, and along the way being able to provide more water for beneficial uses, both consumptive and non-consumptive, throughout the whole Conservancy District territory. This is a water project for the 21st century.
Sorry, that's usually a little smoother.
We toured that reservoir. It's a private reservoir, and Paul, he actually hand-built that dam himself. He owns the water rights on Trout Creek, is that right?
Correct.
And he hand-built that himself. What, I think Greg said it was 2 guys, a dog, and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
So-
amazing dam, too, for that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Anyway,
amazing.
thank you so much. Is there
Thank
any
you.
questions?
No questions.
Sure.
Thank you for the information. It's nice to have the update.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
Thanks. All right, we'll move on Item number 11, authorization of chairman's signature on a waiver of a building permit and septic permit fees for Judith Overy Field. Who's going to take this one? This is your district.
Yeah.
I'll pawn that off.
Mr. Chairman, I have spoken with the folks requesting this, so
Yeah, I haven't, so.
I guess
Oh,
I can
okay. Well, there
talk
you
a
go
little
then.
bit about the project. So there's a woman who lives in Commissioner McFall's district. Couldn't resist. Out to the west here, and her home burned down not terribly long ago, and she has just been having a really, really hard time financially. So there's a group of people who have gotten together who are rebuilding her home, and to date, everyone has donated everything for the home. There is cement being donated for the foundation. The pouring is being donated. The contractor, Chris Jenkins of Jenkins Homes, is donating his time for this. He's the one who drew up the plans. It's a very small home. I believe it's about 800 square feet. It might be upwards of 1,000. Very small home. So they had contacted me and asked if there was anything Fremont County could do. They originally asked for us to waive all fees and taxes from the county. So we had the conversation as a group of commissioners and said, you know, we don't mind helping someone out who truly is in dire straits as long as others are pitching in as well. And so there, as I said, there are many others throughout Fremont County that are helping get this done for this woman. And we, as a county, we are not allowed to waive taxes of any kind. So they put forth the request to waive the fees for this. So I guess with that, Mr. Chair, I would move to authorize the chairman's signature on the waiver of this building permit and septic permit fees, which is a total of $1,139.
Thanks. I second that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome as well.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to award bid for services for the Fremont County Coroner's Office. Sunny.
So we sent out proposals to 2 different companies within the county, and these are requesting bids for deceased removal costs, body storage costs, transportation to autopsy, products and services, including indigent cremations and body bags, and then cooler space rental if that was available in those organizations. So we received 2 bids back, and those are both in your packets. And so upon review of the 2 bids, the recommendation would be to award this to Holt Funeral Home, and their costs came in at the lowest of the 2 companies that were on that. And so if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to answer that. So after this, we would prepare an agreement between the county and the organization.
I guess I would just clarify that this is something that it was an idea of our Fremont County coroner, Randy Keller, who has had just issues in the past over basically whose turn is it to receive the body, because he had been working very hard to do 50-50, and there just have been some issues with it over the years. So Mr. Keller is the one who came up with the idea to do this. We agreed that since he is another elected official and it's his office, that we would allow him to go through this process. But as county commissioners in charge of finances for Fremont County, it is up to us to actually approve the awarding of the bid.
So what is this? Is this a yearly bid? How long is this contract? What's the?
So the plan was to do for the remainder of this year, and then there is no contract right now, so that we would essentially award this, and then my proposal for a contract would be the remainder of this year, and it could be renewable but that's something that we would have to work with Brenda on the terms of the actual. So as of right now, it would just be the remainder of 2018.
Okay, that's all this is for. Okay.
But we, like I said, we'll actually put together an agreement, and that will be on a future agenda for actual approval of the agreement.
Okay. Good.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve a award a bid of service for the Fremont County Coroner's Office to Holt Funeral Home for the remainder of 2018.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to item 13, approval of Pathfinder Regional Park Facility Usage Policies and Agreement. This is something we've been having a lot of conversations on. Sonny, you taking this one as well? Okay.
Sure. So with the retirement of Tommy Covington, so he was the CSU extension agent, but he also took on the responsibility of monitoring and granting the use of Pathfinder Park based on the applications and everything that came in. So with his retirement, that's actually not something that the CSU extension office should in theory have to be responsible for. So we started conversations with the commissioners and decided to actually bring that at the administration level here. So the first step of that was to review the actual policies and the rental agreement and everything on that. And so we have updated those, and upon approval we will get those posted. A couple of the changes that we're looking at, for the most part, it was just kind of cleaning up a few items on that. But one thing that we've had numerous discussions on, we've done a lot of research on, is the possibility to actually open up the arena at Pathfinder Park 1 day a week to the public. And so that's something we've been discussing for about a month and a half now. We've reached out to other counties to see what they do, reached out to our insurance company just to make sure everything is covered as far as liability goes. So we still have to set the actual dates and times and the schedule for that, but in this agreement it actually does have that, or I'm sorry, in these policies it does have that to where we will have the park open 1 day a week to the public. And so if the park gets rented out by a different organization, that will obviously change that. We can maybe change the day of the week. So right now we're working with Department of Transportation to purchase a trailer that will actually help us water it quicker. And so we'll be kind of going through and doing some of the minor things that we need to do to get that done. So that, like I said, that's the main change. We are not changing any of the fees or anything to reserve the park, but that's the main change in these agreements. So it will be posted on the website as soon as the board approves them.
Okay.
I think the good thing about this is specifically what you said. It's the taxpayers of Fremont County own Pathfinder Park, and yet the arena's locked all the time unless you have a scheduled event. So by being able to open it up where it's a little more readily available for the public is a great thing. We hope it works out. We'll have to see how it goes, but I think it's a good thing in the long run.
And it will be available to the public at no charge on those days.
Correct.
I think that's important to
Yes.
state as well.
Correct. Essentially what the plan is to unlock the gate at a specified time and to leave it unlocked throughout the day and to lock it at the end, like I said, at a specified time. So the actual schedule and the date hasn't been set, but absolutely it's just open for the public to use.
And then just to kind of add a little to the trailer that has the water tank in it, right now it's not a real efficient system as far as watering the arena, which needs to be done prior to events because of the dust and whatnot. So this will kind of make it more efficient and a lot easier to get the whole arena wet and then worked for an event. Before it was taking 6 to 8 hours to get the arena watered, and it still wasn't watering all the arena. With this tank, it'll do it in just 30 minutes, probably be done with it. So it's going to make it a lot more efficient and a lot easier to get things done, especially for a 2-day event. So it's going to be a great addition to it, I believe.
And just to add on to that, that trailer is being purchased by Conservation Trust Funds, which is CTF, which is lottery funds.
The other note that I would make, as Sunny said, we are making a change from holding CSU responsible and accountable for the applications for renting or for using the Pathfinder Park Arena, but that actually is moving into administration now. So folks interested in doing that can call administration here at the building or come in and go to room 106 for further information. Okay. All right. With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Pathfinder Regional Park Facility Usage Policies and Agreement as presented.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. And with no further business coming before the board, we are adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't get a chance to rush the podium as you suggested at the beginning, but I'd like to invite everybody to the Easter sunrise service at the Royal Gorge. Yeah, so, and I'll be glad, since it's April 1st, we won't be doing any April Fool things, but I would be glad to call Commissioner Payne at 4:30 when we leave to go up there.
I think that'd be a great idea.
As Commissioner Bell recommended.
A nice reminder. A nice reminder.
We'd love to see you.
Thank you, Greg.
I will make sure you have all of his phone numbers. I'll make sure you have all of his phone numbers.